All right, so we're ready to roll here, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, far out. So to all of you that are joining right now, Robb Braun here with the Leadership Source, actually now broadcasting from Temecula, California, welcoming you. I'm thrilled you were able to make this. And you're joining me with my good friend Mike Michalowicz, who's visiting via the internet here on the East Coast. Mike, good afternoon to you.
Rob, thanks. Yeah, I'm right outside New York City in New Jersey, and to me, this always speaks to the power of the internet. I mean, it's so awesome that we can put together something like this because there was excitement about that creative live event I did about the pumpkin plan, and so cool that we can be on different parts of the continent or the country doing this. I think it's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about today was.
And so Mike, what's happening? I don't want to interrupt. Just we're getting a little delay.
Cut out, and unfortunately, that's the part of Google Hangout that's difficult. Are you back? It looks like you're just coming back now. Okay. Yeah. So Rob, I don't know if you can hear me or if we're broadcasting out live. Google Hangout can do this occasionally. It just cuts out totally. So I can see me moving. I can see you moving. I just can't hear any of your audio. Is your audio still on?
Okay, fair enough. It was dropped for a little bit. I was not able to hear you. Now I am able to hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're back. We're back. So let's go.
All right. All right, so let's go. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I would like for the folks on board here, Mike, some of the folks are going to be familiar with you, some are not. Would you please just introduce who?
Ordinary pumpkin farmers, and found that there was a special faction called Colossal Pumpkin Farmers. They had found a method to growing colossal pumpkins, and so once I discovered this method they had found, I wanted to see how to apply it to business. And it sounds kind of strange, but I found that colossal pumpkin farmers change the growing behavior just by a little. They change a few things in the process to grow pumpkins, and the pumpkin responds with explosive growth. Well, I found when business owners make these same changes, their businesses respond with explosive growth. Mm-hmm. I've studied many of these businesses, and I was just blown away. So, by the way, Rob, I didn't just start writing about it. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I first applied it to my own companies, and I grew 2 multi-million-dollar companies this way. One I sold to private equity. My second company I sold to Robert Half International, a Fortune 500 company. They own account temps, office temps, and they brought my company. I was doing computer crime investigation. And then I stepped into a true passion here of spreading the word on how to grow things colossally, but how to do it quickly, healthily, organically. Not some artificial growth where you get tons of capital infused in you and then all of a sudden you're this big company. How do you do it with your own seed? That's what this book is about, and that's what I write about. Now I've had the privilege of traveling the world basically sharing it.
Got it. And Mike, if my connection drops off again, please roll without me here.
Okay.
Yeah, please. So Mike, thank you for that. And and that was a lot of my huge attraction to you. And I followed you when you were sharing the toilet paper entrepreneur, and that's how you and I.
Yeah. You're starting to drop off again, but. Keep going.
Okay. Yes. For me personally, my company, the Leadership Source, I've been going at this for 15 years now, and for me, my biggest focus in the beginning was really addressing leadership in companies, and I wanted to be able to learn more about leadership in me, and that's when I began to really develop my business, and as I work with business leaders. And business leaders, it's one thing when I was working in large corporations, it was amazing how tough it was. And Mike, you've referred to this, how slow things move.
Yeah.
And it was painful for both of us sometimes. And that's when I began to start working more with the small business owners. And by the way, first of all, small business owners I could relate to more because I had some of the same pains that I had, and I had to work through a lot of that. So it's been a lot of the teachings I've gotten from you early on, and then when the Pumpkin Plan came out, when we got to spend some time together earlier this year, that's when it really, made sense to me. And I've been able to apply a lot of those principles. And one of the things, Mike, I think one of my mantras that I'm getting so good at is learning how to say no. No to opportunities.
Yeah,
biggest ones.
you grow by saying no. So there was an interesting study, and for everyone watching our Hangout right now, I think this is really important to write down. They found, I don't know who they is exactly, but a study showed that the entrepreneurs who are most successful had the discipline of saying no to a relation of 10 times more than they said yes. Wow. So entrepreneurs who said no to opportunities 10 times more than they said yes were the more successful ones. And they found that struggling entrepreneurs, ones who live check by check, were always checking the bank balance, can I pay the company's expenses, can I pay my own payroll, were saying yes to opportunities 10 times more than no. It's all about focus. I like the saying, the riches are in the niches. And one thing I talk about in the Pumpkin Plan is that we have to first know what is the actual outcome we're looking to achieve. Second, what is the path that will get us to that outcome? Yeah. And then execute consistently with that. Just one last thing I wanted to share is I came up with this little tool, and we have a little workshop you and I are doing together where we'll use this tool. It's called the survival trap. And a survival trap is like this. You're at point A here on the right side. You want to go to point B here on the left side. The way to get there is very direct. But if you're in point A, if you go in any direction away from point A, it gets you out of the moment. It's a survival mentality. If point A right now is struggling to pay payroll, taking on a client that's not appropriate for you, borrowing money from the bank, all these different things actually works in the moment. It gets you out of the trap. The thing is, you may be going this direction when you want to be ending up here. So we make decisions, Rob, in the moment that are effective to get us out of a crisis, but crush us in our long-term vision. So one strategy I like to share is that no strategy is, first, know your endpoint. Second, know your path to get to that endpoint. And then have the discipline of saying no and oh to all the things that may help you survive in the moment but are not taking you there. Right. If you can survive in the moment and have it consistent with where you want to go, that's the path to success.
It's interesting. It reminded me of a quote I actually just read this morning by a man named Randy Gage. He's written a lot of books on abundance, and one of the things he said is, and this is one of the things that, we have to be careful how we frame this. He says, basically, a statement is, it's not that there's a lack of money, you just have a lack of ideas. Now, that's okay. But what can happen, the trap, like what you talked about, and this is something I would fall into, is that I felt as long as I had ideas going and there was energy and I was doing something, that was good. Yeah. But it wasn't looking at the long term. It really was just trying to fix the here and now. I wanted to fix this quarter, or I wanted to fix this month. And if I just do something, I put together a workshop or put together a new program, and the program wasn't in alignment with where I wanted to go or the clients that I want to work with. It was just a reaction to falling into that trap right there. And that's one of the things, and that piece around learning to say no is about being more thoughtful and discerning when it comes time to be able to make those decisions. Now, ideas are great. To have ideas come in, but it's more important now to toss more ideas out than actually bring more ideas in.
Oh my God! Steve Jobs was quoted before he passed away. Of course, Steve Jobs was quoted that they said, "What do you attribute your success to?" And he says, "I am most proud of my discipline of saying no to great ideas." How he turned down great ideas. One tool for everyone watching, Rob, and this is something you and I have talked about, is the thing called 3 questions, or the 3 questions. And this is basically it. When evaluating any decision, you're going to engage a new prospect, you're thinking about going into a new offering, you're thinking about redesigning your website, always ask these 3 questions. The first question is, whatever you're deciding on, is this in the best interest of your top client? So identify who your top client or top clients are, and whatever you do, is this better serving them? Because inevitably, we're not thinking about them, we're thinking about any client, and then we ultimately degrade the quality of service or experience our top clients are having, and that's the foundation for everything. If you say yes to that, the second question to ask is, does this further differentiate my area of innovation? An area of innovation is how we distinguish our company, our uniqueness. Why it's called the area of innovation is we always need to have that one category, that one thing that makes us distinct, that we're improving and staying far ahead of our competition on. Most businesses, I'd say, Rob, focus on everything, therefore no focus. They try to innovate everywhere. Yeah. Pick that one thing and dominate. Yeah. So whatever you're doing, is it further serving your top client? Secondly, is it further differentiating you on your uniqueness? And the third and final question is this increasing or maintaining your profitability? Because I know people that come up with great stuff for their top clients, but they lose money on it, and then it's death by 1,000 cuts. Only when you can say yes to all three of those questions, whatever you're considering, is it okay to proceed with it. If you say no to any of them, you have to either not proceed with that idea or modify the idea until you can absolutely say yes to all three things, and that will get you on the path to point B, with that vision you have. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. And you stress something real important right there, and that is saying yes to all three. And I'll have clients go, well, Rob, I'm 2 out of 3, man. Or if there's one, does that mean we can go if I get just one yes in there? Yeah. And the discipline that it takes to say no if we can't satisfy all three of those.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the Meatloaf song, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It's pretty freaking bad.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
I've seen people say, and listen, when I say seen people, I'm talking about myself. I've made decisions around profitability, something that'll bring in more money very quickly, that further distinguishes my uniqueness, but doesn't serve the right client base, the ones that I've been kind of growing. And when it takes me off focus and I start serving a whole new client base, first of all, my best clients now think I'm a sellout or I'm ignoring them, which is horrible for long-term profitability. And the new client base isn't really aware of me. I have to build up this whole thing again. Other times, I've done stuff for my top clients that make me a lot of money, but doesn't make me distinct. And now I become a regular guy. They might as well look at competitors that are maybe more cost-effective. So I always have to be elevating what makes me distinct. I always have to be serving my top customers better so I can retain them and hopefully clone them. And I always have to be profitable because that's the sustainability of my personal income and my business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mike, you've talked about area of innovation. You talk about unique offering. I'd love for you to go into a little more depth on that because you and I have talked about that a lot, and how important it is. And I guess what I'm going to preface it with is how important is it that what I'm offering my clients in my line of business is full on in alignment with what I'm best at and what it truly is unique about how it is that I do what I do. So talk more about that.
Yeah, I totally will. And then I want to throw it back to you too because I have a leadership question. I think that will really educate a lot of people.
All right.
So I believe that our business should be a soulmate to ourselves. And what I mean by that is the ultimate business success is when you love what you're doing, and that the love for what you're doing brings so much joy that when you're doing work for money, that even if you weren't making money, it would still be great. Now, by the way, tip number 17: never tell your client you'd be willing to do it for free, but definitely feel that way, because if you feel you love it so much that you would do this for free, that means you're in joy. And when you're in joy, you naturally excel. You're naturally better than anyone else. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced waiters and waitresses who hate their job and who love their job. And they technically may be doing the exact same thing, but there is a dramatic difference in the quality of the overall experience from someone that's doing it because they love it and someone's doing it because that's how they make their next paycheck. So, a leader, a true leader of the company, will first actually look introspectively and understand what makes me click, what have I defined as my life's purpose, what gives me joy. Then they'll orient their energies there, and as an entrepreneur, they have a business built around it. The business ultimately becomes an amplification of who they naturally are.
Yes.
It becomes very powerful. Now I want to throw, if it's okay, I want to throw a question back to you.
Yeah.
Your specialty, your expertise is leadership, and leadership development in entrepreneurs in particular, and getting the best out of them. What are your tips that you can share with me and everyone watching in right now? How are ways to get back to your super strengths, where you're naturally talented, how do you figure out what really drives you internally?
Got it. And so before I answer that, what I also want to remind the folks that are listening in, we'd love to have some of your questions. So if you've got questions you're able to type in there, you want to join us live, you're welcome to. Mike and I would love to field some questions from you.
Yeah, do it in the chat, because I think neither of us are sophisticated enough to get the Q&A thing going here on Google Chat. So do it if you can. Do it on the chat.
I'm not. And by the way, it's important for me to admit to all of you out there, this is actually my very first Google Hangout. So I know Mike is a little more well-versed in it, and I have a great marketing team that helps set me up and all that, but the rest of it I'm a little handicapped on. You know, Mike, it comes back to, you mentioned earlier about you talk about a leader of an organization, a company, how important it is that they truly understand and know themselves. How can I lead others if I cannot lead me? And you'd be, well, actually you probably wouldn't be surprised how many leaders really don't do that kind of reflecting, but for them to be effective they must. And the same thing really happens for us in small business. It gets back to, and I'm philosophical here, I got to know what I'm here for. I got to know what my purpose here on the planet is. I got to know how it is that I best serve people. And part of the way that I know that is I pay attention. It's like when we talk about feelings. You know, I have some people say, I think I'm feeling something, but I don't really know. Well, I go, well, are you paying attention to your body? Your body will tell you.
All right, Rob, I think I just lost you, and I hope I didn't do something here.
When I know this is what I'm here to do. And when you talked about it earlier, it's an amplification of me. My business will thrive and succeed because I'm full on in alignment with who it is that I am and what moves me. And so I pay attention to that. So oftentimes leadership is, you know, some folks say, well, you know, you read a book and you read a great book and you just follow the rules and people will follow you. People are looking to follow, and this is within small companies. And guess what? Customers are looking for that small business owner to have those leadership qualities as well. They need someone to be able to guide them through the buying process, or guide them through the sales process, or guide them through the, you know, the pumpkin buying process, whatever that is. That's all going to get picked up for when I am full on in alignment with what I'm here for. I feel it. I know it. I know it. Not sure if you still hear me.
No, I got you. I got you. You just came back. It was like the grand wrap up to what you were saying, and it went and it came back.
Got it. The other piece, I think where I was wrapping up right there is just that it will reflect in everything that I do. It'll reflect in every phone call that I make, every engagement with a customer or a client, potentials, or even folks that I may not end up doing business with, but we make a connection, and we might have some circles of influence where we might do some business out there. But everyone will be paying attention, checking out that energy, that I truly am the guy that you want to do business with, because man, nobody does it like Mike or Rob, because they're so damn passionate. They love what they're doing. And by the way, another way is ask the people around you. Check with the people around you. Check with your employees. Check with your business partners. Check with the people that know you best. You know, is this right for me? Is it coming across this way? So
yeah. Hey, and Rob, let me just say one thing. There's a lot of people saying, how do I participate? Is this interactive? We want this to be interactive.
Yeah.
The thing is, Rob and I are technically inept, and so just if you have a comment, a question, anything, if you can go to the Google Plus page where it says the sneak peek to the workshop, just put your comments up there on the G Plus page, and we'll give a feedback response. We'll read off the comments on air. So sorry about that, guys.
Most definitely. And Mike, you're talking about the little chat right over here where we just watched that?
Well, no, not our chat. That's between me and you. On the actual G Plus page, people can post comments. So some people are asking on that page, is this interactive? We've got a comment from Stephen Johnson. So Stephen, there's your answer. If you can just leave a question. Ray MacArthur said something. Timothy Benson. So thanks, guys. Just real sorry that I'm not capable enough to do the Q&A through this directly. So another thing I wanted to talk about,
Mike,
Rob,
and I had you here because you're supposed to be this.
What was that?
I was being flipped.
Oh, okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was there was amplifying who you are, but then there's getting that message out into the company. And one thing I did with my businesses, and I'll tell you, Rob, if you've 1 employee or 1,000 employees, this process works. And they're called huddles. If you ever watch I'm a huge football fan.
Yeah.
You ever watch a football game, every time before a play, the players huddle up and they say, here's the play we're going to run. Now, they have to do this because could you imagine everyone just kind of gets on the field and they just run a play, but no one knows what the play is? There would be such confusion. They have to get on the same page. And yeah, sometimes it's flagged in. Other times there's the players are yelling to each other because they make an audible.
Right.
But usually every single play starts off with a huddle. Now, for a company, I did this in my own companies. Every day, instead of every play, every day we would start off with the huddle. The biggest my own personal company ever got to was 35 employees plus myself and a partner.
Okay.
We would meet and we would just say, here's the goals, objectives for today's. Who's experiencing problems? Where's the opportunities? Anything to celebrate from yesterday? It was really rapid fire, no conversation, just announcements. And in 7 to 10 minutes every single day, everyone get on the same page. Now, the interesting thing is we always talked about the vision of the company. Here's what our company's looking to do. Here's who we're competing against and that we need to beat up. I mean, not figuratively, not viscerally.
Yeah, of course.
So here's our competition that's kind of taking a chunk out of our business. We need to compete back. But by getting into this rhythm of always communicating the vision and the tactical day-by-day play, our company was able to grow very quickly, and that's the one that Robert Half bought. So even if you're just yourself and a couple contractors in your business, you still should have a daily huddle. Get in the phone with your contractors in the morning and just say, hey, here's what's going on today, and get them in sync. As your business grows, it's a great habit to get everyone face-to-face doing a rapid-fire thing.
Right on.
And what I'd like to throw back to you is my question, Rob, is what other ways, as a business starts growing, can leaders, can entrepreneurs communicate their vision to the team?
Nice. And Mike, what you're talking about, and I don't know that I heard you use the word, is employee engagement. There was a study done recently where they obviously went out to large companies, Gallup poll, and they were interviewing something like 10 to 20,000 employees, and what they found was that there was a number, it was crazy, 65% of the employees in companies are disengaged. Not engaged in the vision, the process, where they're going, following their leadership. So that's part of what you're talking about. That sharing the vision, what's so important about that, and you really talked about that, regular contact, regular communication. So that's a piece right there. The other part is invite your people to be a part of that vision building process. So Mike, you're a visionary guy. I know that you're big picture guy. And I liken myself to that same type of leader where I'm looking at the horizon all the time and I'm out there. It's important for me to be able to come back and then bring my people in. And if I've got a small staff, and right now I do have a small staff, we're under 10, but what I'll do is I invite them to go, what are you seeing out there that I might not see? And include them in that. So when we have those regular huddles, regular meetings, we'll do the same thing is what are you seeing that we may not be seeing, that maybe we're watching for, we're not paying attention to out there. Doesn't mean I incorporate everything that goes on, but I listen to all the ideas and allow them to be a part of that. And what ends up happening is sometimes we do make little shifts. That's not the employees driving the company, but I'm listening to things I may not have ever even considered before that I like, and it makes sense because they're paying attention and they are engaged.
You know, a great question came in from Andre Gonzalez. He says, if your employees work remotely and are all contractors, what would be the best way and frequency of huddles? Here's my 2-second tip, and then Rob, I want to hear yours. Mine is hop on the phone. I do a lot of my huddles via free conference call, and I still do it daily, every single morning. with all my contractors, even though some of these contractors I work with maybe only once or twice a week. When it comes to contractors I work with very occasionally, like once every quarter, I don't include them in my huddles. What's your thought on that, Rob?
Yep, got it. All right, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you back, yeah.
All right, cool. So a little note from my marketing team right here. Charles says to tell everyone out there, if you will just go ahead and circle me and then join the Hangout, all right? So to just go ahead and circle me and then join the Hangout, and you'll actually be able to be a part of this, okay? So, Mike, also when you're talking about remote right there, one of the things I also encourage is never let the daily not happen. For people that you are engaged with on a more regular basis doing business with, to build, there's a lot of fun things you can do. Obviously, I haven't figured Google Hangout, but my marketing team says this is a great way to do that. But Skype is another great tool, where you get to see the faces, hear the voices, to be able to do that. And then another thing I also do is I get up early in the morning, and Mike, you know this. I'm a 4 a.m. guy. I begin to discipline myself, and that's how I start my day. And what I'll do is I have some things that I'll put in the inboxes of all my people. There are quotes and just some things that I thought about today that I would love for them to consider before we even get on that live call. And it's a way to kind of stimulate their brains and just get them thinking about it, but it's also letting them know I care about them, I care about their input, and I want them to be a part of what we're doing. So.
And Rob, I'm going to take this opportunity just to pitch what you and I are doing together.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to throw up my screen share. I don't know if you guys can see this, but Rob, I don't know if you guys know much about Rob's background, or maybe you know a lot more about his background, none about me. Rob is one of the most influential business coaches on the West Coast, hands down, and his specialty is extracting the raw, authentic energy and talent in individuals and then expressing it through a business. And we teamed up because that's Rob's talent. My talent is building the infrastructure using the pumpkin plan and other stuff I've developed. How do you now make this into a business that runs on a systemized level? So we were talking about this for at least a year now, and we said, well, why aren't we doing a workshop together? So if you guys are interested, we're just kind of scratching the surface here. But in 24 days from now, which is October 30th, the day before Halloween, Rob and I are putting on this event. And if you can see my screen, the link is up here. It's Robb Braun, and Rob spells his Rob with 2 B's. So it's ROBBBRAUN.com, Pumpkin Plan. And robbraun.com/pumpkinplan.html is where you get it. You just click on Claim My Spot, and you can sign up for this live event. We're going to be doing this in person, so it's me, Rob, and you, and a small collection of us, and we're actually going to go through this stuff, in real time. This is one of those times where you're going to be actually working on your business as opposed to working in your business, panicking, putting out fires. Yeah. So if that appeals to you, I encourage you to sign up. There's absolutely an investment. It's $600, and I'll tell you, that is more than reasonable, because what you're going to experience is 2 guys, me and Rob, working with you hand in hand to get your business moving forward. And you should expect, I always say you should expect at least a 10 times return. I expect you should expect 100 times return because of the improvements you'll make in your business. So if that appeals to you, just wanted to put that on the table and invite you guys to come out and join us, because it's going to be a rocking event. And I know there's a lot of folks from Creative Live who are on the live wire with us now, and who were with us last week when we were doing out there, what we were doing out there. We scratched the surface out there. We did a lot of modules touching on the pumpkin plan, touching on these different things. In this workshop, we're actually going to be doing the actual tools, going through it, and introducing a lot of new tools. So just wanted to put that out there. Did anything I missed on that, Rob?
Honestly, I don't think you did. And for the folks that may not know about Mike out there, for those of you that are on this right here, what I'm hoping is that you can relate to some of what some of my early on business struggles were. And for me, and this is, it's part of the gift that I bring, to my clients as well, and that is, I have got all the energy in the world, and when I know what I'm going after, and I know what I want, I'll put hours in. I will sacrifice myself. I'm learning, by the way, how not to do that so much, but I'll do whatever it takes. And then what I also found was happening though was I didn't have the full-on strategies for it. So even as I'm working with business clients, I can get anybody to the edge of the cliff, and I can get you to leap. I can make that happen. However, boom, we've got technology going here.
Yeah, there we go. Who just joined us?
Relate to some of what some of my early on business. My marketing, Charles Consulting made this happen right here. Made it all happen. So one of the things that really attracted me about what Mike is doing, which is why I spent time with him this past year, is the business strategies. And one of the things that we are going to do is what we're hoping is you're going to do is you're going to bring your business, like bring it in the box, bring it all with you, and go, this is the bag that I'm dealing with. This is the challenges that I'm having. This is the stuff that's going on in my head that I can't get past, whatever that is. And what Mike and I then are going to do is we're going to go to work on your business. You're not going to leave without having some legitimate strategies, next steps when you walk on out of there. That's if you will, and not just the investment of your $600, the investment of your full day, the investment of your energy. It's so important that you get a massive return on all of that. So we want you to walk out of there being able to breathe again, because I know some of you business owners cannot breathe. I know I was there once upon a time, and some of you are feeling that too.
You know, one tip I want to share right now is cloning your top clients. And I think one thing you can do to prepare if you want to come to the workshop, or if you decide it's not a fit for you and don't want to come, here's what we should do to prepare our business for this next quarter. You know, today's September 30th. I got my clock right here. It is September 30th, which means we're at the quarter. We're at the end of Q3 and we're starting Q4.
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest objectives every business should have for Q4 and every quarter, quite frankly, is evaluating what were we doing right for our best clients, our top clients, what we're doing right for them, because what we were doing right is something we can amplify and do more of. Yeah. Then, what did we fail to do for our top clients? Where did we fall short? That's stuff that's either we should abandon or no longer do. But every quarter, we should be evaluating our top clients and how do we better serve them. And by the way, a question came in on Google+. It was from John Wood. And John said, what might one do to move into top client status as a client of the Pumpkin Plan? And generally, a top client is identified by a few things, John. A top client is someone who spends the most money with you. And why this is important is clients show their appreciation for us by their actions, by opening their wallets. I have a saying that the truth is not spoken through the words, it's spoken through the wallets. So revenue from a client is big. But there's a second thing that identifies a top client that most people miss, and it's what's called the cringe factor. When that client calls you and the phone's ringing, are you like, oh my God, this is the best freaking client ever, oh my God, I love them, or are you like, oh my God, I am whoring myself out to these people, I have to do this work? If you feel you're doing it for the money, you're whoring yourself out, unfortunately, even if they're generating tons of revenue for you, it's unlikely you'll ever be able to provide exceptional service because you've lost that authenticity, what Rob, you were talking about. So top clients are, they pay you well and you love working with them. Once you identify those top clients, we have to do everything we can, and there's tons of strategies around it, but we have to do everything we can to now clone them to find other clients just like them. Rob, you have any other thoughts on that?
Honestly, I don't. And part of what it was, I was a little distracted right here because we do have some folks that are on the Hangout right now. Diane and Jude, I want to give opportunity if either one of you had a question for Mike or me, just to bring in here.
Yeah, I accidentally muted them because there was a little background noise. So, but they're open to do anything in the chat room, and they can put. Yeah,
by all means. Yeah, jump in there.
Yeah, by all means. But there's more stuff coming online. So let me ask this. Here's a question that came from Jenna Fleur. And Jenna, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And by the way, yeah, our pleasure to do this follow-up to Creative Live. The feedback was huge for that live event, and we just wanted to answer specific questions. How do I increase my client base without endangering myself or my home? I'm an independent contractor. I'm a female massage therapist dedicated to a studio built into my home, which is a rented home. My client base followed me here. So how do I increase it without compromising or endangering my home? Yeah. Rob, can I throw that one to you initially as I kind of digest that one?
Yeah, please. You know, Mike, part of what that goes back to, and that is getting very, very clear about who those ideal clients are. When we are, and I know some folks that worked as therapists, massage therapists that do run business out of their home, and it's kind of a tough balance right there. When we're creating our ideal clients and getting real specific, what ends up happening is those are the folks we really begin to attract to our business, and it's an energetic thing. It's a very, very real attraction that happens where I weed out the knuckleheads. I weed out the folks I wouldn't want around my families. And obviously doing the best that we can to create some kind of separation, kind of a little safety barrier, if you will, between our personal lives and our business lives. It's we want to avoid what's called the countertransference. That's that idea of allowing too much of myself to be known to the people I'm doing business with before it's time. So I want to be careful right there and have my antennas up, have my guard up for when a customer or a client, it's not a good alignment, energetically doesn't feel quite right, and I haven't given too much of myself away where I can go ahead and remove them, set a firm boundary that says maybe this is not going to work out too well. That's my first thought. How about for you, Mike?
Yeah. So I'm just responding to one person here. So there's a technique of using your weakness and making it your strength. Now, I'm not saying running this out of your home is a weakness, but I'll give you an example with my own situation. My last name is Michalowicz. Like, that is effing hard to pronounce. Like, I still sometimes struggle with my own name. It's a weakness. And it's interesting, when I became a full-time author after being an entrepreneur, I had an opportunity to either have a pen name or legally change my own name. But I decided to do neither just because it's my name. Like, that's who I am, warts and all. But what's interesting was I also had the opportunity to change a weakness, a very difficult to pronounce name, into a strength. And what I did is, if you visit my website, you will see that I poke fun at my own name. Because since people struggle with it, I now invite people to enjoy struggling with it. So you go to my website, you go to home page, there's a little speaker symbol there. You click on it and it says, his name's pronounced Mike Michalowicz, but here's all the funny versions. Mike Michelob-Schmitz, Mike Michalowicz, that was a favorite in high school. Like, all these different variations. And the magic that happened for me was that people started knowing how to pronounce my name properly, but would poke fun at it. And then when other people didn't know how to pronounce it, they knew how to pronounce it, because there was this whole process of learning my name by poking fun at it. So whatever your weakness is, you have a business, Jenna, that's running out of your house. How can this become your biggest strength? And I'm not purporting to know, but this is stuff we could definitely brainstorm about. And I saw your comment, Jenna. I pronounced your last name correctly. It's French for flower. That's awesome. Let's see. There's lots of questions coming in here. Blah, blah, blah.
Mike, if I may, we actually have Diane here who's on the Hangout right here. She's got a great question.
Oh, good.
And she's asked the question, what does one do when a top client starts asking for further discounts, right? So they may have gotten a discount already, but now they're wanting to have more discounts. How would you address that top client?
So when top clients ask for discounts, they may not be a top client. You got to realize that there's a difference between revenue and profitability, Diane. And one thing that I suggest you do, I gave you two columns, I'm going to give you a third now. Your first column is revenue they generate. Second column is, do you love them, a smile factor. The third column in evaluating clients is, what is the hourly return? And what I mean by this is, how much revenue do you make per hour? If a client generates $1,000 for you and you spend 1 hour work to get that money, that's freaking great. If a client generates $1,000 for you, but you spend 100 hours, now you're making $10 an hour. Like, an hourly job at Mickey D's will serve you probably even better. So you have to do the hourly return. When a client starts pushing for discounts, I'll tell you one thing, they don't perceive your uniqueness to be that unique from others. They feel that the price can't be justified. So when I hear any client ask me for a discount, like, for example, if I do a speaking engagement, that would be a typical client for an author. If someone says, oh, can you do that for half the price? If I accept that, that means they didn't perceive me as better. When someone says, I say my proposal is $15,000 to speak or something for an hour speaking gig, and people are like, oh, that's a deal, then I know that they see my uniqueness. So if a client is asking for discounts, the indicator is they don't see what distinguishes you from the rest of the pack, and you need to focus on that, or they're not really your top client. Jenna, no problem answering your question. That's awesome. Jenna also asked Rob, the hardest thing I have to do is fire clients that I don't enjoy. I just want to say something about that. When you have a client, Jenna, that you don't like, the cost to you is more than just the time you spend with that client. The cost of the emotional weight you have thinking about them or writing about them just now. Like, they are still weighing on you. There is a lot of relief in getting rid of a really weak client, because not only does it free up your time to focus on better clients and prospecting with them, but it gets rid of that emotional weight. Now, I'm not suggesting to anyone fire all your bad clients right now, because that may bankrupt you. But I am suggesting you identify your absolute worst client right now and your absolute best client. Then I want you to get rid of that one horrible client, and with the time that's freed up, pursue serving your top client better. I almost guarantee, not in all cases, but I guarantee they'll have more opportunity for you because you're more available to them now, and because you're focusing on them, they'll think of you more. And even if there's not more business there, you can start interviewing them and asking them questions. How do you find other clients just like them?
Yep.
All right. Good.
Beautiful. Mike, Christian's got a question out here. He's asking about the workshop we're going to be doing on October 30th. And by the way, that counter on that little doodah is a little skewed. So it's actually 31 days or 30 days or something like that. Oh, got it. Never mind. Cut off. 24 days cut off. See, I shouldn't be opening my mouth when I don't know the answer to stuff like that. The question was, does a person have to be in business to be able to benefit from the workshop? All right. So, and I'll lead with that. My first response to that is there are so many of us out there that I'll speak for me, and I know a lot of my clients. There's a lot of mistakes that were made, a lot of things that we didn't do early on that would have saved us a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, a lot of long hours if we'd have had a legitimate strategy going in. So I know for me, and by all means, you know, we all know the deal. We learn from a lot of mistakes we make, and we course correct. If I had known some of Mike's tips, some of the things I had learned from Mike before, if I'd learned that there was things I needed to know about me before I go out there and learn to attract clients and know me better before I go and do that, I certainly would have taken advantage of that. So what I will share is that most definitely a person who is going into business can start stockpiling their strategies now and will, and one of the things I would definitely be doing is pressing up against you, Christian, or someone else who is looking to start business, is if you are, let's get going, right? But let's get going in a good way. Mike, anything else you would offer on that one?
Yeah, just real quick. You know, it's the old curative versus preventative maintenance, or you know, you can cure a heart attack. Once you have a heart attack, you can go and get cured, or you can prevent it by exercising a lot. Unfortunately, for workshops, and I include myself in this, usually it's only when I'm in a panic mode, I'm having a heart attack, do I go and try to fix things.
Right.
The workshops work, and Rob, quite frankly, 90% of the people that come to the stuff we're going to put on is going to be in a curative mode. They have a specific problem they need to fix. We're going to fix it. The thing is, you're in a much better position going in prepared, preventative. So ironically, the workshop is best served to people that are going in looking forward, and then it can invoke stuff as opposed to having to walk out and immediately jump on some of these things we're going to reveal and use in our class. So absolutely, it's oriented toward people that have a business right now today and want to take it to the next level because they're stuck. That's what it's oriented toward, but the people that really will benefit most are the proactive people that come before they need to employ any of the panic resolution stuff and can just, just do it when the time presents itself. But that's the reality of the situation. I would love to see every type of person come because growing a business from 1 million to 10 million is very similar to growing a business from 0 to 500,000, which is very similar to growing a business from 10 million to 50 million or 50 million up. And because by the way, I've experienced all those scenarios. It's not like I'm just flippantly saying this. I've experienced all those scenarios. Inevitably, there's different things that have to be done at each stage, but the common theme is refocus, master it, now focus on the next thing, master it, focus on the next thing, and that's what the pumpkin plan is about. It's focusing on the growth, mastering it, focusing on the new thing that will cause growth, mastering, and so forth.
Right on. So as a reminder to all the folks that are on this Hangout right here, the purpose of this right here was to go ahead and give a sneak preview and give you all a taste of what we're going to be doing on October 30th. If you are ready to really dive into your business and you know that you've had some successes, and this is not about folks that have failed. This is about folks that are doing it and are looking to be able to get support to be able to get to those bigger levels. You've built your company up to $1 million and you're swamped. You've consumed all your time and your energy, and your relationships are struggling. Your health might not be in the best place because you're giving everything you've got to get your business to try to get to that next level, and you stall somewhere, something's stuck. We want you to be able to get unstuck. We're going to find out what it is that you need to do next, where you need to have some different perspectives, and really go in and troubleshoot that. So Mike and I are teaming up on October 30th. We would love for you to join and be a part of that. And wherever you are in your business process, your business progress, what we're going to do is we're going to make it for those folks that are there, and hopefully you're one of those people. If you will go to the page, Mike, can you show that again? Got that there?
So. Yeah, so if you hear me talking right now, you should see it pop up on your screen. The website is Robb Braun. It's ROBBBRAUN. That's a triple B. RobbBraun.com/pumpkinplan.html. And what we're going to do, as Rob was saying, is this is the opportunity to work on your business. There's a famous quote by Abraham Lincoln who said, if I was given 8 hours to cut down a tree, I'd spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. Mm-hmm. Most entrepreneurs don't spend 6 minutes a year sharpening the axe. This will be a sharpening the axe event, and you'll go unprepared. The investment is nothing compared to what you should expect as the return. It's a $600 investment. And by the way, investment is an important term to use. It's not a $600 cost. A $600 cost is something that you pay for something you get no return. That's a cost. This is a $600 investment where you're putting your time, your money, and you will expect, and you should expect, a return as long as you invoke the stuff we'll be discussing and presenting in the workshop and working with you specifically on your business. So you should expect a return. The last thing I wanted to share, Rob, is that anyone that signs up right after this event today is going to get that bonus we've been talking about. And the bonus is this. I presented for the very first time at Creative Live a teaser on my newest book. It's called Profit First. It's a whole new way of approaching cash flow management in a business. It's a whole new shortcut to accounting that's actually fun to do. And it's based, believe it or not, it's based upon weight loss and diet principles, a method I've now using for myself for 5 years in collecting cash. And by the way, it works. I took a distribution, and every business, I hope, that's listening right now, took a profit distribution because today's the end of the quarter. So I took my profit distribution today, and using Profit First is what's developed that for me. If you're not taking a profit distribution, you will learn how to make your business profitable and take a profit every single quarter like you should be in your business, because your business should be serving you. Well, anyone who signs up today for our workshop that we're doing out in LA is going to get a free session with me after the workshop on the phone. We're going to do this a few weeks after the workshop, but it's an exclusive group, and we'll be going over Profit First accounting, and you'll be basically the first group to get the full discourse on it, the full presentation of it. Creative Live folks got a little preview to it. This is the only group that's going to get a full presentation of it before I put it into my book.
Right on.
So go sign up now. And I want to see everyone out there. Like, let's get together. Like, let's work on your business and let's fire down some beers together afterwards and high five about knowing each other and now supporting each other.
So, Mike, we're actually at that time. We're actually at 48 minutes. Man, time went by like crazy on this one. So what I want to remind everyone is if you do sign up now, and we're going to give you the next 24 hours. So anyone that goes in, gets signed up the next 24 hours, you'll get to participate with Mike in that follow-on after our workshop. But be real clear, we're not going to do it that evening, because once we have dove into your business and we've all worked hard in there, what's going to happen is we're going to be beat, and it's going to be time for us to sit back. And what we want for everyone that's going to be there, it won't be exclusive. Everyone that participates in the workshop that day, we're gonna head to the cocktail lounge, and we're all gonna sit. We're gonna talk. We're gonna commune together. We're gonna celebrate together. We're gonna just decompress a little bit. We want you to be able to join Mike and me for that one right there.
I think we may do shots. Like, remember the Alabama Slammer, like where it was like you slam it down? I think we may have to do one round.
One round, and I caution all leaders: once a leader, always a leader. So you want to be careful after shot number one, right?
Yeah.
So, right, and there's certain things about me you don't want to see, right? But we do want everyone that is there first to ability just blow a little steam, because we're going to be working hard, crazy hard that day.
Yeah. It's going to be intense. It's going to be fun. So I hope you guys can join us. It's Robb Braun. Just one last time, the website link is Robb Braun. That's 2 B's. And if you still can't find robbraun.com, just go on Google and type in Robb Braun, your best shot. You'll find him. And once you get to the website, you'll see the link off this homepage, but it's /pumpkinplan.com. /pumpkinplan.html. It's the only time this year I'm doing a workshop in California, besides the Creative Live event, but this is the only time I'm doing a live one-on-one workshop in California, and it's the last time this year. So even if you're not in California, I'm not doing a workshop anywhere else, I hope you guys decide to come out and join us, and yeah, let's work on your business. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I got, brother.
Yeah, Mike, thank you for taking the time today. Loved doing this with you. For our folks that joined us live, I'm glad you were a part of this, even energetically. I hope you got a little piece of something today. If you've got follow-on questions, fire away. I know that you can. We'll go check out on our YouTube site. We'll respond to any questions going on there. So I'll make sure to hang out today, respond to any of that. And what I'm hoping is that leads to then you joining us on October 30th. All right? So for all those who invested your time and energy today, I honor you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. And you learned some tips today. Employ them in your business immediately.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Yep. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.